Hi Uprisers, it's Trisha Lacroix once again with Sacred Uprising Institute and Retreat, and we are awakening the power of infinite love within you. And today we have Courtney Walsh. She is an author of Dear Human. She is an intuitive coach. She works with people on many different levels, and I'm very happy to have Courtney joining me today to talk about Renegades and Revolutionaries. Before she jumps on, just wanted to mention that we do have our conference that is coming up September 18th, 19th, and 20th, and it's going to be in right outside of Santa Cruz, California. Many of the wisdom keepers, the teachers that we have here on our live videos will be part of this conference, and they will be teaching some beautiful, beautiful truths, beautiful that you are able to experience here on these live videos. So please don't miss out on the conference. Our main focus for the conference is infinite love, and it's about bringing abundance into your life, becoming what it is that you want. And when it comes down to it, love is everything that we want, and it's what everything is created from. So that's what we're trying to do. There we go, Courtney. Hi.
Hey, so yeah, it had me rotate the phone just now again.
Oh, did it really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Well, at least we're on, right?
Yeah, we're on.
We're on.
Good.
So
yeah, it's on.
I was just letting everybody know about the conference we have coming up. And so I wanted just to go over just briefly what the conference is really about. So like I said, it's about infinite love. It is about oneness. It is about the divine feminine, the divine masculine. It is about Christ consciousness. It is about everything that the bridges that will take you to everything that you are desiring within your life. And it's becoming what you want to bring into your life. And when it comes down to it, everything that you want, the core of it is love. So becoming love and the vibration of it. And so one of those wisdom keepers, hi Annette, that will be coming, that will be at the conference will be Courtney Walsh. And I'm very proud and honored that you're going to be part of the conference. So today you are talking about renegades and revolutionaries, and you had tagged me in a post to give me just a briefing of what this is going to be about, and I think this is a great topic for today.
Yeah. So we're now in 2018 in chronological time in our historical arc of evolution, and in some ways it feels like we're super leaping fast ahead, and in other ways it sometimes feels like we're regressing, right? Both on the individual level, sometimes you kind of pull the arrow before it launches,
right?
And go 2 steps forward, 1 step back, sideways, etc., the cha-cha. So this is the chaotic swirl that any of us are kind of trying to find our balance and ground, and as you say, live from that heart space and from that sovereign service vibration. Right. So the fancy way of saying, get it together and radiate love and have fun while you're doing it and be in your purpose and in your flow and all these magical words that we throw around all the time again. But how do we embody that? How do we embrace it? How do we just stumble our way through it, but then get better and more mastery and the intimacy and the connection and communication in our interpersonal relationships, and then bring that to the community level and to the national and to the global, and have this sort of harmony and fusion and coherence with it all.
That's amazing.
Right?
Yeah, right.
Sounds good.
Yeah, that's good. We're done. Done.
All right, I got it figured. So what's really going on is the feminine. We've talked about a lot about this, so now we've kind of built on that, understanding the feminine forces. I want to say forces. The powers are from the young girl who's got her head shaved. I can't think of her name right now, but she's rocking it with the enough
from Parkside, California.
Holy moly, yeah. Doing incredible things. They're just rallying the youth troops to go, no, we're not going to be shot at school. That's not going to happen. That's, and so there's, this massive movement away from fear and into love. And you can see it, how it plays out all over the planet.
Right.
And in our music and our arts and again, the dynamics between us. And you can see it heightened in the politics and the political realm right now. It's very, very kind of up for review and cleansing, and in the media and all that. So there's a lot of places where it's just kind of in our face. you know, social media, for
Right.
example, too. It seems like there's a lot of different vibrations, messages, and dynamics happening. And so we're definitely trying to find our way with it. And one thing that I guess I'm learning for myself is more communication, more clear boundaries, not barriers, but boundaries around that feels good,
Ooh,
that doesn't.
I like
I
that.
want
Yeah.
that. This works for me, that doesn't. Bringing things more out into the open, into the light, away out of closets and shadows and secrecy and darkness, and into transparency and community and communion. And it all sounds good. In practice, it's clunky and funky because we're all sort of used to hiding those icky, squishy, itchy parts of ourselves.
Right.
In the shadow. And so if you haven't done any of that inner work, and you've just been kind of about image consciousness, or about looking or, you know, presenting yourself a certain way, and you haven't had your mess ups and then your recalibrations, you're going to get the wallop, the fate, the karma, the, you know, cosmic 2x4 around. Are you walking your talk? Are you living your truth? Are you coming from that heart space? Or is it ego? Is it intellect? Is it just that mind looping over and over again, around and around, in the old patterns of fear?
Yeah, you know what? And that's one of the things, like on Sacred Uprising, I want people who are walking their talk, that are living their truth. You know, Dak and I talked yesterday, and one of the things Dak said was, and I loved it, is that when you are not living your truth, but yet you're speaking it, you're actually creating a paradigm that is not sustainable. It's
Right.
false. It's an illusion. And so you can't, there's no foundation to that. So
Right.
to be a revolutionary, to be a renegade, you have got to live your truth. You have to, that has to be part of your lifestyle. It has to be who you are. It can't just be pretty words, because I got to tell you, I dated pretty words. I don't like pretty words.
I don't
Bullshit.
either.
It's just
That works for me.
bullshit. It's all a lie. So
yeah.
yeah.
It feels gross.
It feels,
you know, when the
yes.
pretty words are coming at you, but there's no tangible actions backing them up. We're all kind of over that now. Right. Like, move along.
So, and you have this girl that you talked about, and I don't remember her name either. I mean, I'm getting old. I don't even remember all my friends' names all the time. So, but she is, I mean, she's living her truth. She has this passion inside of her. It's the core of who she is at this point. I would imagine she's not only speaking it, she's living it. She's walking the walk. Yeah. She is making change. I mean, even her silence, the truth is always in the silence. When she gave that speech and said nothing for how many seconds, how many minutes, said nothing. It was the most powerful speech I have ever heard, and it said nothing.
But it said everything.
It said everything. Yes.
Because the discomfort that's coming around having to face these children who are unsafe to go to school.
Right.
You know, we had bullying to contend with, and we had that dread and that nervous stomach about your math test, or about things, you know, like with your friends or whatever, but we weren't worried about getting shot.
Right.
In math class.
Right.
So they have to do whatever they have to do that they feel is their truth and is their responsibility and their divine guidance. And they're doing it beautifully and powerfully, as you say. And I love it, because it almost feels like I'm ready to pass the torch and the baton and go run with this and go.
Right.
If some of us have been on those front lines forever, we're tired, man. We're battle weary, and the sword arms are kind of wanting to, you know, I keep saying I want to trade my sword in for a bubble wand or a magic wand. You know what happened the minute I said that? Like, the synchronicities are so fast now. The minute I said that, like within a day or two, somebody literally handed me a sword, a medieval sword, and said, "Here."
Yeah.
And okay, I guess that the battle is
I don't get my bubble wand.
I want the magic Harry Potter one, but no, here's a sword. Okay. So I laughed because, and I took a picture of it, and it happened to be a very dramatic sky that day. And I thought, okay, you've got to embrace the inner warrior, and you've got to not feel like, but it is a pick your battles thing, right? It is is this worth it? Is this not? And know when to put, Ariel Ford, my friend, says, plant your sword in the ground, which is a staking your claim and taking your place at the table, so to speak, you know? So with women, it really can look like either leaving bad marriages that aren't mutually nourishing, that aren't supportive, that aren't recognizing and acknowledging her role in the family, in the community, in the world, that aren't, you know, sort of actively, tangibly, vocally, and financially encouraging and supporting her greatest expression.
Right.
If he, in some way, the man in the house is suppressing that or mocking it or denigrating it or competing with it, done.
Right.
We're not playing that game anymore.
Right.
It doesn't work. It has to be teamwork now. It has to be partnership, like we've talked about, and that solid masculine part of us, and reflected in partnerships, or, you know, whether male, female, you know, this is again more about the energies and the gender roles. That needs to be in equality, in partnership, in mutual support, mutual respect, mutual love, with clear communication, clear boundaries, and asking for what we need, and being very, you know, we get so squirmy. I do, when I ask for like basic things, basic human things, because the feeling is this humiliation that why am I 47 and I can't provide basic shelter for myself or money or whatever? It's because I've been giving and overdoing and overfunctioning and depleting my own reserves for so long. And those are choices I made. So I'm not a victim to that. I own that. But now I'm coming out swinging, going, yeah, well, I need help. I need help. And I will do it in the most awkward, funky, crazy ways that I have to do it, that make me go, oh my God, I can't believe I have to do this. Or in the ways that are smoother and that are, you know, probably better, like the honey and the bees thing.
Right.
But I will do it. I never wanted to do it. I hate doing it. It feels awful to ask for help and to receive the help. But that is really my next growth curve.
Right.
Is to be able to be in that position where I don't feel like the damsel in distress in need of rescue, by saying I am tired,
right,
and I need help. And I'm at the end of my reserves and my tank. And it's not because I did anything wrong or I didn't do anything, you know, certain business steps or things right, or the timing was wrong, or it was a failure that my spirit needed, or it was a karmic backlash. I'm over all of that. I don't care why I'm in the position I'm in. Now I'm just ready to be in a different and better position. So that's a graduation of sorts for me personally. And I'm sure there are a lot of men and women out there, especially women who are relating to, I'm trying to find my purpose, my passion, to bring it forth, to play a bigger game, to be more visible, to be more supported, and to feel that I have a partner and a teammate or a whole village cheering me on and going, what do you need? How can I help? What do you need? How can I help? These are the two most useful, beautiful, and powerful questions that you can ask the women in your life. What do you need? How can I help? And then do it.
Right.
Whatever she's asking, you know, because it is a big deal, you guys, for women to ask for help. It is a big, hairy, ugly, nasty, gross, humiliating, horrible thing, because we have been taught to be independent, to be strong, to never have to lean on someone, to absolutely take care of ourselves and everyone else all the time. And that's unrealistic, and it's ridiculous, actually.
Well,
that's the, you know?
Yeah, it also goes on another way as well. So for me, I was in a corporate career. I was,
I did that.
Yeah, I was fighting to provide. I was making money, but I kept taking 3 steps back, 3 steps back, 3 steps back.
Yep.
And I kept fighting. But there came a time where I was just tired. You know, you know, you can be single or you have a single mom. It doesn't matter. I was just tired. And you know, from a spiritual standpoint, I got on my knees in my bedroom and I lifted up my hands to God and said, and I was weeping because I couldn't do it anymore. And I said, I'm tired. You have taken everything from me, everything. And all I have left are these ashes of my life. But if you want my ashes, you can have those too. And I completely just gave up. It wasn't like I wasn't working. It wasn't like I was not being a mom. It was just my fight was just, I'm just going to accept what is, because I can't do it anymore. And that's when my life transformed.
And that's almost like the surrender by defeat. Like,
yes.
Okay, you're worn out.
Right.
It's bigger than me. I can't take it anymore.
Right.
Or when like I hear Mary Williams and say, use me, God, or Oprah or whatever, and I go, okay. You're worn out of being everybody's projection board, or everybody's fantasy, or everybody's, go-to person for therapy or spiritual guidance or insight or energy or emotional support. You just like, I'm fucking done, like, come on, what about me and my turn? Hello? No, I'm a person too. I'm a person too with needs and, desires and gifts and talents, and that want to be showcased, that want to be birthed forth into a larger space and to be compensated for that. Like, and people go, well, why did you do it? Why did you go on social media for 10 years and post every day 27 million times a day for free? I don't know. I don't have a rational answer. I was compelled. I was writing books along the way. I was traveling. I was living my life. I was working. Then I would have like gigs and this and that. And it's like my life got progressively harder. The more I gave and did, the more I overfunctioned, the more I pushed myself, the more I tried. And if you're not able to kind of step back and bask and unplug and glow and receive and rest and nurture and replenish all your gifts that you're trying to penetrate into the consciousness are useless, because like you say, there's a disconnect in the self-care and in the energy you're putting forth. You're just doing it because you're just kind of like this channel, this radio, this human radio walking around all the time. And that's a recipe for burnout. And every woman I know is kind of there right now on that edge, right?
Yeah, I mean,
or coming out of it.
Right. Yeah. These days on social media, I mean, you get a lot of information for free. That's just, it's just, there's so much information out there. Right. And so many of us, we go and we provide and we write and we do. And because, for me, when I write, it's because spirit is directing me, and I'm like automatic writing, and that's what I do. Right. So, there's so many different ways I'm learning, even with the conference, how to market. I'm talking to marketers, and, I've, to get this off the ground.
I've had blessed people who've come forth and tried to kind of package this and try to pretty it up and try to polish it and market it and, make it into content that's saleable, but that couldn't hold form because my energy was too fast. So by the time a product comes around, or it's on a t-shirt, or it's in a seminar or webinar or a book, I'm already on to the next 27 things.
Right.
Right. So it's not a question even of me slowing down to get it into form. It's a question of who is the right fit for me for the marketing energy, who can get it into the form and into the masses and into their hands and into, I'm not so savvy with that. That's not my gift or my skill set. So I've been putting out energy to call in people who that's their gift and that's their genius.
Yeah, right. So how do you become a renegade or a revolutionary?
I think conversations like this, like just the real deal of like, wow, this stuff can be really hard and tricky and sticky and weird sometimes and overwhelming and can fry your circuits, because a lot of women are out there hearing the message of follow your bliss, follow your passion, dream big, become savvy about business and money and get spiritually, financially, evolutionarily, and that's just more stuff on our plate. Right. So to have those conversations that are really transparent and open about, wow, the learning curve has been a hell of a thing. And, that we have these, they say, what do they say? It's a bitch in the hallways, when it's like, when you're between one thing and the next, you're in the hallway, you're in the in-between. Right. But be able to almost kind of celebrate the in-between, because it's that space where it's the pregnant pause, where things are brewing and things are percolating and marinating. And lately have been feeling such an intensity, like I did back in 2012, right before Dear Human came through. And that's something that now has been shared, I don't know, 150 million times or something all over the planet. So I've been feeling that same energy, almost like that restlessness, that wired, revved feeling of like, you always feel like you've had 27 cups of coffee. And I'm not going to call it anxiety or angst or overload. I'm just going to say that it's energy that wants an outlet, and it wants channels, and it wants to become art, and it wants to become projects, it wants to become classes and come into form. So it's running through me all the time now, and I'm just learning how to ground it. I have to go out and be barefoot on the grass a lot. I have to breathe, meditate, have conversations with friends on the phone, and get tangible as much as I can. And sometimes I'm just like, I've got a really soft, nice blanket and I listen to meditations, and I have to do things that will soothe that nervous system, because, and nutrition, and and hydration, and there's all kinds of really good, like Dak would probably be able to speak very well to those pieces about the self-care pieces. Yep. Right. Yeah. So it's wonderful that we all have this team kind of assembling, that each of us have our different areas that create this larger picture of what is a renegade, what is a revolutionary. To me, sometimes you see that picture of, you know, the Paul Revere guy in the hat, you know, on the horse, bringing through messages, or like a Harriet Tubman. That's when the first wave of the American revolutionaries, for example, were very much, and the renegades were very much against England. So that a renegade and a revolutionary has often been against something. I'm against Trump. I'm against child trafficking. I'm against. Instead of being pro self-care, pro prosperity, pro intimacy, pro joy. These are the new revolutionaries and renegades, are moving from fighting against the old paradigm into innovating, anchoring, and building the new, as it were.
Right. Wow. Well, so where do you think, so when it comes to, when I think of myself, a renegade and a revolutionary, I was talking to a friend, I think it was Lori, I was talking to her, and I said, you know what, I was the rebel. I was the one that was very mouthy, and I was proclaiming everything, and I loved that about I loved that badassery that I had. And I said, but since I started dating Charles, I'm quieter. I just feel like I'm more the queen. I can just, you know, I don't have to do that. And she said, and I said, but I missed that, you know, like what Pink has when I went to her concert, that being a badass. I missed that. And what Lori said to me, which I found was very beautiful, she said, Trisha, you just got introduced to your divine feminine for the first time in your life. She said, so you have this divine, you know, I was a masculine woman before, you know, I had that masculine energy about me. And now I'm more into the feminine energy. She said, it's kind of like all coming together. It's all, you know, you have the equal balances. It's all mixing up. She goes, that badassery is going to come back again. You're going to be that, you know, that renegade. You'll be that revolutionary. But right now, you are so just.
You are it. Yeah. You are, no, you got it flipped, honey. You are it right now.
But
the new renegade and the new revolutionary is in what you and I and Dak and Lori and all of us are creating. This is what I'm saying. The luminary of now and going forward isn't in Martin Luther King or a Bobby Kennedy or a JFK. They're not fighting against the old status quo. We're learning how to incorporate self-care and doing less and even speaking less. And the new renegade and revolutionary is not a rebel.
There you go. Okay. All right.
Okay. Not pushing against the river. We are not even just going with the flow and letting life carry us along without any direction. We are staking our claims, creating lives that are meaningful and purposeful and joyful for ourselves. So then we have that home space and that home base to nourish ourselves and give forth from that place, rather than from the scramble or having to starve yourself over salt or having to make a point in a martyrdom kind of way. You know, God bless all those people who did that. Thank you. Amen. Hallelujah. The ones who burned their bras, the ones who are protesting and marching now and wearing pussy hats. It's awesome. It's needed. It's wonderful. It's still pushing against, and it's still fighting. It's not the kind of renegade and revolutionary that I'm talking about, where we're moving forward, where it is softening, where it is more an inward situation, not even battle. I don't want to use that word about this. It is a growth and an evolution of how do we bring forth a new light onto this planet within ourselves and radiating it and emanating it outwards, and then linking up those lights with each other so that they're lighting up the planet from within. And it isn't just all this sludge and darkness and division and fighting and one-upsmanship and competition. That's the old, what we would conveniently dismiss and put all under the umbrella heading of toxic masculinity, right? So because it's just the buzzword.
Yeah, so it's a renegade and revolutionary from a point of peace and joy and love, rather than the old way from lack.
Yes.
Okay.
From wholeness, and from overflow.
From wholeness.
From the true renegade and revolutionary going forward isn't just going to be about fighting against or breaking down the old. There is an absolute need for that still while we're in the transition, while we have one foot in each world. I've written about, in Dear Human, about flowers and confetti. So one being like funeral flowers at the funeral of patriarchy. It's like an old dude, he's in the room, everybody's crying, they're sad to see him go. The next room, a baby girl is being born. Okay, so both of those rooms are very active and real in the hospital that is planet Earth now. It's just which room do you want to be more effective in and which room do you want to spend more time in? And
Right.
both, we need mourners and we need grievers for the old ways that are, you know, dissolving. And then we need celebration and jubilation and welcoming and confetti for the baby girl room. Because she's coming to the planet. She's here to, you know, not just kick ass or you know, break down the old way, but to bring a new, softer, more playful. Like I've been getting to hang out with my friend's 3-year-old. She's so emotionally fluid and she's so fun and she makes these cute little faces and she's like a little fairy. She's so tiny and she's so magnificent. Her light is huge in this tiny little body. She is the new way. She is the new vibe, if you want. She's, you know, I'm always going to really appreciate, support, and feel empathy and compassion and resonance with people who are fighters. But I'm always going to feel more comfortable, calm, and peaceful around people who are lovers.
Oh, yeah.
You see?
Yes.
Doesn't mean we won't have that blend within us of those energies, but that whole contrarian of, no, I'm not going to do it because you told me to, instead of like, well, maybe I do want to do that, and I don't want to just knee-jerk my no out there before I explore it and see what's there for me.
Right.
You know,
Right.
the juiciness of the yes instead of the heaviness of the no.
So the thing that I'm taking away from this today is you can be a revolutionary and a renegade from a point of wholeness rather than a point of lack. And so that's where I am. That's where we can be renegades and revolutionaries about light, about peace, about oneness, about love, rather than
more
fighting.
effective ones.
What?
Yeah. More effective and more energized and more, you know, what is it, the Abraham thing? One who is connected to the stream is more powerful than millions who are not, and two who are connected to the stream in a, you know, and like we're in rooms where there are 2 or more, there go I, whatever the Jesus thing. So like, yeah, it's unification of the harmonized energies, which sounds very new age, I know, but if frequencies, whatever lingo or verbiage you prefer, it is being pro things in your life rather than against. Oh, I'm so sad that, you know, I was romantically rejected, or I'm so sad that, you know, I missed out on my opportunities about this and about that. Okay, grieve it, be there, and then move the fuck on.
Right.
And get over it. Get over it and don't keep repeating it. You know, we have opportunities now to cut those old loops and smash those old programs and try something new. And if you're afraid that you're going to repeat old patterns and old mistakes, you've got to realize you're not even that person anymore. At 47, I am not the person I was at 33. When I was in the hospital and going through all this shit. Now, I still have moments where I feel like I'm cracking up and melting down and whatever, but I'm not in the same space that I was. So I'm not making the same choices. I might sort of get tests and whack-a-mole games. I've already got this one handled, that thing's flaring. But I have more tools and more skills and more self-awareness and more humor about it all now. So it's not possible to repeat the past. People say, oh, you keep repeating the past. You keep repeating your childhood traumas. Not unless you really enjoy that and that's your choice. You don't have to. And it's not realistic to think that we could. It's not, when you've graduated from a PhD program of life, you don't go back and try second grade, you know, stuff. You don't need it. It's already exactly there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Well, I like this conversation. I like this new way of thinking and how this can also help people on, how they're moving forward with their life, how they're viewing themselves. To the whole point of it all is to get back to wholeness, is the consciousness of oneness. And from there, you can revolutionize your life and those around you. So,
absolutely.
So Courtney, so what we're doing now, I know I always ask how people can get in contact with you, but I'll let everyone know you can go to sacreduprising.com. She is on there and you can click on her link to utilize her services. But why don't you tell people how you can assist them with their journey?
Well, one of the things I love to do, I just did like a home party kind of thing, but it was at my friend's salon, and I did that the other day. And I'll just sit with people or do a session or do a FaceTime or something, and I can identify pretty quickly what the self-limiting behaviors and programs are, because I'm so hyper aware of them within my own blueprint that I can kind of help people shift and reframe and rewire things like we did here in a general way for the collective, but more on the individual level. So I have a lot of joy when I do that transformation work and helping people shift. So I had one woman come and she was like all wound up and she was kind of a nervous wreck. And she was just, you know, well, what about this? What about that? What do you think? Blah, 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 blah. And that hyper energy that I told you has been almost coursing through me lately. And by the time she left, she had kind of just had this big sigh of relief. Her face looked brighter and smoother, not quite as pinchy or tensed. And and we hugged, and it's moments like that I love, whether it's an in-person reading or whether it's like this. So I do these intuitive counseling sessions, I call them. I am not a, you know, certified counselor. I'm just someone who's kind of lived through a lot of this different stuff and been in different kinds of therapy myself. And so I offer a different perspective from the intuitive guidance level of connecting with your, if you want to call it your higher self or whatever, and getting messages that I can hear that many people maybe not hearing in the way you and I are hearing each other or the way people are hearing us. So it's what they call it clairaudient. So it's not hearing voices, it's not schizophrenia, it is tapping into other dimensional realities and versions of people. And I've heard over and over again when I tell them, oh, your spirit's telling me this about where you're at and where you're going and what's in your way. They're always like, how did you know that? I'm like, I don't know. I just tune in, you know?
Okay, well, so if you want to talk to Courtney or work with her one-on-one, go to sacreduprising.com, click on the link to her website, and you can schedule time with her or contact her from there. Don't forget about our upcoming conference, everybody. You can go buy tickets. Once again, go to our website and you can do that. We'll be adding some additional information on the schedule for our conference. That'll be added by next week. And so on another note, focus on love. You can't go wrong focusing on the infinite love that resides within you. When you do that, you will transform your life. Be your own renegade and revolutionary for yourself, because it's got to start there. That's where it really, truly starts. So we have Lori Green that will be coming to do, she'll be doing her video here in about 30 minutes. So we're going to jump off. So stay tuned for that. She is going to be talking about expanding into one. And that's what it's all about. So Courtney, thank you so much for being here today. We need to talk, by the way, about the conference. So you'll be hearing from me.
Okay.
You'll be hearing from me later. So everybody have a great day, and we'll see you in about 30 minutes. All right, bye.